Good morning, afternoon, and evening, guys. We're back with another random tier list. Today we are talking about inventions made by female scientists, creators, and just women in general over the last 100 or 200 years. Now, I did this for specifically George Washington Carver at the end of Black History Month and now for Women's History Month, tackling just some random inventions here. I just grabbed a quick list of some random ones. You guys can see there's a lot of different stuff here. And we're going to be ranking them on this tier list from absolute top tier down to not that important. Obviously, these are not all of the inventions ever made by women ever. And obviously, women have made a lot of other discoveries and inventions and stuff. I was reading through Wikipedia and stuff I don't even understand about protons and the universe and crazy stuff. But these were the inventions that I think we could make a good tier list out of pretty quickly as well. So, starting off here, guys, we have baby carriers invented by a woman. I should probably get the names, and I will read the names off of all of these. Let me make sure I'm informed here. All right, we are back, guys. Child carriers invented by Anne Moore in the 1960s. These are useful. The world would still continue to turn if we didn't have them, but definitely a useful invention and ones that definitely make sense. Anne Moore was a nurse and peacekeeper, so that was right up her alley in terms of her career and whatnot. Makes sense. Useful. Next up, we have car heaters. Now, car heaters were invented by Margaret A. Wilcox in 1893. She also is the woman who invented the dishwasher, which we also have on this list. Car heaters, I mean, you can't live without them, right? I mean, in a lot of places, especially where it gets very cold, it would be very difficult, if not impossible, to drive your car in the wintertime when it is very cold and snowy. Honestly, this might be an absolute top-tier invention. Just with how pertinent and almost required cars are to our lives nowadays. The dishwasher here, which was also invented by Margaret Wilcox, is also a game-changing invention. I don't think it's quite as important as the heater, because despite how much I love washing dishes in the dishwasher, not having to do them myself, I could survive without it, as could the world. Right, so this is a game-changing invention, definitely makes life a lot more convenient, but it is not absolute top tier, I wouldn't say. A correction here, guys. I just was pausing to make sure I got some info right. The dishwasher was first commercially built by Josephine Cochrane. Cochrane? Hope I'm pronouncing that right. In 1887, so I guess Margaret Wilcox either invented a previous design or maybe a future design of it. I'm not sure. Wikipedia has them both listed, so... Josephine Cochrane for that. Cochrane. Next up, we have central heating. Alice Parker invented this in 1919. This is a system of powering a house. Now, her particular design for this was never really built, but it did inspire other people to use natural gas to heat a home, which is how most homes are still heated today. Also, my cat in the background scratching. Central heating, I would say, something that we can't live without. Probably absolute top tier for the same reasons that car heater was. Let me pause this. If you guys are a subscriber on the channel, you know we do these things in one take. Let's keep rolling. Central heating in your home, just like heating in your car. Very useful. Absolute top tier, game-changing for just everybody that has a house, right? Unless you live in California, I suppose. Next up, we have chemotherapy, which would also go in absolute top tier. Chemotherapy, unfortunately, does not cure cancer, but it does give many people with that disease a chance to live a longer and a longer life and survive with that disease. Jane Cook Wright was an oncologist who pioneered the use of this, as well as the use of a couple specific drugs to treat cancer. And I'm not sure when she exactly did this, but she lived a long life, about 90 years old. She passed away in 2013. So chemotherapy, and obviously very pertinent and very important invention by Jane Cook Wright there. Next up, we have chocolate chip cookies, and I'm going to do those and the mint chocolate chip together here. Chocolate chip cookies were invented by Ruth Grave Wakefield in 1938, and they're very good. Let's talk about chocolate chip first. Chocolate chip cookies, very good. Many people's favorite dessert. I would say it's up there with one of my favorite desserts. You know what? I'm going to say it's game-changing. The fact that you can have a little bite-sized chocolate, it's not too chocolatey, right? It's chocolate mixed with flour and whatever else goes into cookies. I don't know. I don't make cookies. An egg, maybe, is in there. I think it's game-changing design. Not that important, I would have to say, about mint chocolate chip, though. Marilyn Ricketts invented this in 1973, and I personally am an avid hater of mint chocolate chip, so I apologize to those of you out there who are not. Let me know in the comment section if I am an idiot. But I'm going to go ahead and say mint chocolate chip is unfortunately not that important. But some of these others are. So we have disposable diapers here. Disposable diapers, a game-changing invention, I'd say, for families and mothers around the world. This was first invented by Marion Donovan in 1946. She was a professional turned housewife who wanted to ensure her children's cloth diapers remained dry while they slept. So she went through the process of creating these and eventually created what would become disposable diapers that we know today. There was also another diaper design around the same time by Valerie Hunter Gordon, who patented it around 1948. So the 1940s, early 1950s, we are seeing these diapers pop up. And while there is some benefits to reusable diapers in terms of like environmental benefits of not, filling our landfills, you can't really argue that like families' lives would be totally different without disposable diapers. It's already so much work and so difficult to be a mother or father or just raising a child in any capacity. To have to add something else on top of that, families out there would probably not be into that idea. All right, next up we have brown paper bags, which were invented by Margaret Knight in 1868. And she not only invented the concept of like using paper bags like this, but also a machine that folds them herself, which she was able to use to obtain 87 different patents for different machines. She also had patents for lid removing pliers, a numbering machine, window frame and sash, and variants on rotary engines. I don't know what all of those things are, but I know that brown paper bags are very good, allowing you to carry a lunch very easily. And also the precursor to lunch boxes and whatnot everywhere. A very cheap alternative for many out there who just need to grab something at the store quick to carry their food in. Next up here we have home heating, but solar power is what we're talking about this time. So we have house solar heating. This was an inventor, Maria Telkis, and as well as an architect, Eleanor Raymond. They created in 1947 the Dover Sun House, which was the first house ever powered by solar energy. And while I'm sure today's houses with solar panels are much, much different, the first ever design came by these women in 1947. I think that the concept of powering a house off solar energy is a game-changing design. At some point, I think that'll be the norm. Already, at least around where I live, there are schools and other private businesses who are switching to solar power. Likely not for all of their needs, but at least making use of the sun and making use of that renewable resource here in the area. So once more houses adopt that, I think that's definitely going to be a game-changing thing to save people some power, save people some money while also generating power. Next up, this is more of a discovery than an invention, but it has been made into an invention in the form of supplements. Vitamin E was co-discovered by Catherine Bishop and Herbert McLean Evans. So she and he discovered vitamin E while studying the reproductive cycle of rats. Vitamin E is not one of the big vitamins that I know, to be honest. I looked it up a little bit. It is an antioxidant and also helps with fat digestion. So I'd say obviously you can't live without that. Vitamin E is naturally in things that we eat and drink, but certain people might need more of it depending on your diet. So identifying that vitamin specifically and allowing people to make supplements on it is definitely a good discovery. Speaking of discoveries and medicine, we're talking about the whooping cough. The whooping cough vaccine specifically, not the whooping cough itself. This is known as pertussis, which was pioneered by a doctor and medical researcher named Layla Alice Denmark, who lived a long life, lived for 114 years, 1898 to 2012, oh my gosh. Well, she's credited as the co-developer of the whooping cough vaccine. which is a vaccine that keeps millions of babies safe from the whooping cough, a deadly, virus, I assume, that does infect kids. I mean, I know it targets kids. I don't know the exact anatomy of the virus, but I'd say that's absolutely top tier. I think a lot more babies would definitely, not have the same quality of life when they're young, or even worse, die, if it had not been for this vaccine. So a fantastic invention there. Finally, we have something a little lighter in topic. We have windshield wipers. And I was not prepared for this, so you can probably hear me typing. Windshield wiper was invented by Mary Anderson. She's credited with inventing the first functional one in 1903. There was two other inventors, both men, Robert Douglas and John Apjohn, who patented other devices in the same year, but Mary Anderson is credited for having the first functional one in 1903. So windshield wipers, I'd say many people cannot live without them. I'm going to take them a step down from that red tier. I'm going to leave it in orange there with vitamin E. I think that, you could survive without windshield wipers. You just obviously wouldn't be able to drive in the rain. I think heating is a little bit more important than windshield wipers, but I'd go ahead and put that in the cannot live without tier here in the orange. And that's it, guys. These are all the inventions I collected by female inventors to do a little celebration here of Women's History Month, some of the inventions and discoveries brought by female inventors and scientists. What do you guys think? Is there any big ones that I missed out there? Are some of these rankings totally wrong? Am I totally wrong about mint chocolate chip, for example? Let me know down below. And if you guys like random tier lists like this, or just dumb, stupid videos each and every day, drop a subscribe or a like on the channel. Anything at all helps it out. Either way, though, guys, I appreciate you watching to this point. With all that said, this has been the guy who makes random tier lists, and I'm signing out.